All right, and we're here. So, talking about money
What's
and
up, Wars?
energy.
Like, we're just talking about like random things. Okay, go ahead.
So,
Yeah,
I
money and
so
energy. Yeah.
based off. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the whole Mercury retrograde thing and different viewpoints of it. But
Yeah.
what I was going to say is, I wonder if it's kind of like almost as if it's like a masking, kind of like an excuse for stuff instead of like I believe in energy shifts, but I wonder if people just kind of read into it too much and they're like it's basically like almost like a mass psychosis kind of thing where it's like, oh yeah, this is happening. This is why this everything's fucked up. I don't know because like you
Well,
said, you
I mean,
what you give energy to is what's going to happen. So in that same
well,
theory,
it's like I told you. It's like I told you just a minute ago. I mean, like I honestly believe like in energy is everything, right? So we're all energy. So if we give energy to the things that we don't want to give energy to, guess what? You're going to receive that, right? So the universe doesn't know how to respond other than if like, okay, I'm focusing on something negative, the universe is going to respond like, okay, so that's what you want, more of that, right? So what do you want to bring to your life? And that's what I tell people. Focus on what you want to bring to your life in every aspect, whether it's relational, career, finances, like whatever you want to do. Okay, cool. What do you want to bring to your life? And give energy to that. And that also, but that also, the thing with that is that it's also like, it sounds very simple. It's not. Because we are conditionally like we're conditioned for years by family, society, friends, whatever. So we have to like rewire rewire ourselves, right?
yeah,
So I tell people that means you have to like listen to podcasts, hire a coach, do what you got to do to rewire your brain and your way of thinking in life. Because from even before birth, and they always say from zero to birth, no, from before birth, we're hearing things in the womb, and then we come out, and they say from 0 to 7, we're most programmed. I believe that we're from inside the womb to 7, we're really programmed. So when you have people telling you like, oh, like money's hard to find, like money's hard to build. Oh my God, like relationships are shit, right? So you have to reprogram that whole thing subconsciously, right?
yeah,
So that's why I always tell people get on YouTube or okay, a couple things. Get on YouTube. There's tons of like I am affirmations, reprogramming your mind. Those things are beautiful. They're wonderful. There's a lot of good people on there. Or one of the things you can do that's probably pretty real transformational is record yourself saying I am affirmation. I am rich. I am healed. I am healthy. I am I am famous. Whatever you want to do, right? Like doesn't matter. Just record it and then play that over and over on a loop when you go to sleep. I always tell people put your AirPods in and like listen to it because it's like right into the brain. But that's fine. Put it on your nightstand,
yeah,
right? It's beautiful because your subconscious mind is going to take that in every day, all day, every day.
yeah. In a way, like it's a good way to focus on positive stuff instead of because I think we're natural, like you said, we're kind of conditioned. So I think I don't want to say
We're conditioned to live in we're conditioned to live in the primal state. So primal state is fight or flight, right?
yeah,
We were never meant to live in fight or flight ever. We were meant to live in peaceful, this is great. Like I'm with my family, I'm with my tribe, everything's great, everything's beautiful. The minute you have like a moment of like, oh my God, like, am I gonna have enough money? Am I gonna have enough food? Like your mind's like, bam, right in primal state.
Well, yeah,
So
you're stuck in that monkey mind.
exactly. And so my thing is beyond that, even going further, is having been a medic, is that so if you live in primal state for too long, your body's gonna break down with disease.
Yeah.
So when people ask me about like, oh well, what about like cancer and like all this shit? And I'm like, the bottom line is like, how long have you been in a primal state? How long have you been in fight or flight? Oh well shit, I've been stressed out for 30 years. That's why you have cancer. That's why you have heart disease. Because your body's like, I can't do it for this long. None of our bodies can. Doesn't matter, right? Simple things like which I'm not saying I don't say these things because I agree with it. I'm not saying it to recommend it. But I tell people I've interviewed people or talked to people where they're like, yeah, like they're 103. And I'm like, what did you do? They're like, oh, I drink a little bit of whiskey every day. I stay a little bit drunk every day. And I'm like, okay, like I get it. Like it's not the best thing to do by any means, but by any means, but they did
Grandpa
it because
Joe.
yeah, but they did it because it helped them be at peace every day, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't know the natural means like meditation or working out or any of that, that's what people are going to turn to. So that's my thing is that as humans we come here, our souls come here for a learning experience, and it is challenging, of course, very challenging. So our human mind finds things to make it as easy as possible, right?
Well, yeah, because I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was like, I told them this quote that I saw, and I love the shit out of it. And it says, because this all goes back to, yeah, we're always living in that fight or flight. Uh, but like, it just makes me think about having faith and energy and stuff like that. And the quote is, God will steer the boat, but you must row, right? So, like you're talking about, if you want to manifest or create a life that you want, like if you pray on it, meditate on it, whatever, God will put it in your path, but you got to do the work. So, like for example, there's someone in my life, I won't say who it is, but they're having a hard time finding anything to do, right? They don't want to do anything that they used to love, blah blah blah. They don't want to do anything. They just want to sit on their phone and be whatever. And I'm like, that's not going to change anything. But some people get so trapped in their own mind or even in their own device. That's what these are. This is freaking mind control, basically. And they get trapped and they get stuck in that box, but they don't understand what it's doing to them, even on a spiritual level. You
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
So yeah, I just think people, like we've talked about this before, like we're not just physical beings, we're not just mental beings, we're also spiritual. And if you don't feed all three, then you're going to be miserable.
Yeah, of course.
Because
And
like, look at,
we've also talked about the fact that we are well, you and I have talked. Well, we've all talked about it, but like deeper than anything, we're spiritual, right? We're spiritual beings having a human experience.
yeah, that's why I sent you when I was cooking dinner the other night, and I sent you that video of the music I listened to.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know if you listened to it, but
I
it's,
did. Oh no, I've already known that song. That's what I'm saying.
oh,
Like I
okay,
was like,
yeah.
oh shit. I showed my girl. Yeah, I was like, yeah, yep.
But when I do, like for example, when I it's like my routine when I like cook dinner, I'll like listen to that. And for
Mm-hmm.
me personally and spiritually, it almost like when you it makes me think about the concept of like reincarnation and all that stuff, and in a way it kind of helps me connect back to like to my higher self to be like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
because the song is about reincarnation, and it's like
Yeah,
the lyrics are just like, yeah man, and it's just, I don't know, spiritually it's just like it resonates with me. So I'm like, I gotta send this to
Well,
Brian.
because
I don't know if he
of
knows this
course,
song.
no, of course I did. Of course I did. That's what I said. It's funny. You sent it to me. My girl and I were right there. We were hanging out. I was like, look, my brother
Well,
sent
you're
me
at dinner
this.
when I sent it to you.
I was like, my brother sent me this, and I turned on to you. Like she immediately, she was like, oh yeah, I love that song. I was like, no shit. I was like, yeah, no shit.
But that's the thing,
Also,
like we talked about, how we're always different from everybody else, and that's the
of
thing.
course. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I
That's
think
my
that's
girl too, bro. I'm telling you,
I think
man.
that's the key, though. I think the key is that you're right. Is that everybody lives in that monkey minds of survival,
Hmm.
and then it's
Hmm.
just bogs us down from everything else. And then
Hmm.
that's why people live their life and without accomplishing what they want to, because they're just stuck in that box. And it's like, let go, like just let go. Stop
Yeah,
worrying so
let
much.
go. Yes,
Let
let
go.
go. Yes, let go. That's what I'm trying to say. God damn, that's what I'm trying to tell people, man.
And don't get it wrong, because I have to do it like just about every day. But if a new issue
Yeah,
arises or something like that, I'm like,
yeah.
I take a second, I'm like, just let it go. It'll work itself out. Like, still take action, of course, but at the same time, don't allow it to worry your mind, because it's just going to clog you up, and you're going to be depressed and low
Well,
vibrate.
because you're stopping the energy flow.
Yes, yes, exactly.
You're stopping the energy flow. And that's what I tell people. It's like same shit. It's like same thing for me. It's like, no, I know. I've gone through all these things, been through all these things, and so like when I see shit coming, I'm like, oh, let it go. That's cool. Perfect. Because if I don't, I'm stopping the energy flow. It's like so I guess to give like a
It's like a
probably a
circuit,
half-ass.
you know?
Well, to give probably to give half-ass like fucking example is that fucking like so you have a sculptor that has clay, right? And you're sculpting clay, and you're like, oh, like fucking um, I can fucking like sculpt this thing, right? But you just fucking like shove a bunch of clay into the middle. And you stop the fucking flow of like what you could be doing, right?
Yeah. Well, that's funny you say that. It's basically what you said. Though you said it 1,000 times, is when you try to force things to happen instead of letting it
What
flow.
happens?
Yeah.
What happens? There's a stop. There's a counter flow. Like so, you're like, oh, here we go. Like everything's great, and then all of a sudden it's like fucking somebody's like, nope, I want to stop this, and they put it in there, and then you're like, oh well, you just stopped it. That's your fault. Like that's what I'm telling you, dude. It's like it's crazy because, like I said, like obviously you and I have always had fucking all this connection, and then I bring my girl into it, and she sees it, and it's like, oh shit. I'm like, yeah, see, telling you, there's some shit there. There's some shit there.
Well, something is that there I think a lot of people are realizing it in society in general. It's like everybody just relax. Don't be so
Yeah.
serious all the time. Fucking, like, people are freaking out. Well, I have my own opinions on it, but like people are freaking out about like the Olympics and all this other stuff. And it's like I've been seeing all this stuff about Jesus and God and stuff like that, and I'm like, there's something I can't quote it exactly, but there's a portion in the Bible where it's like basically like how the whole Olympics thing where they basically mock the Last Supper, right? I don't know if
I
you
didn't
saw
see.
that.
No, I
Yeah,
didn't see that.
yeah, it's a
Mm-mm.
big deal. But what? Because at first I was like, WTF? Like, this is jacked up, whatever. And I'm like, and then somehow I found this quote from the Bible that basically says some. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's basically like God is up in heaven laughing because like all the humans are freaking out about it. Like, the ones who are doing it, okay, but the ones who aren't doing it, who are offended by it, it's like, don't worry about it, because it doesn't, like, it matters, but it's not. I don't know how to explain it, dude. It's basically like man has created it. Basically,
It
this is
truly
how.
doesn't. It truly doesn't matter. I don't think it truly matters, dude. I'm
No,
telling you.
yeah, it's basically like it doesn't matter what you do because God is there anyway. So it's like he's just gonna laugh at you or laugh at the stupidity of it and be like, "Well, this is gonna happen anyway." I don't know.
Well, I just
That
go
was,
back to, like I said, like I go back to, and I always say this, and it's an old saying, but it's like when we are making our plans, God is laughing, right?
yeah.
So that to me is like huge. I've always said that, and honestly, dude, I've had like so many instances in my life where I said things were going to happen this way, and actually, like I told you, my manifestations recently have been very real, but they've been like better than what I could even imagine. You know?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like a lot of people are, I think, are starting to realize that, like, I
We
see a
are
lot.
powerful. We are powerful creators. Just people just don't get it, dude. Like we are powerful creators, and that's my big thing. Is like that's what I want people to understand. It's like is that we where we give our energy to on a consistent basis is what you're going to bring to your life, right? So,
Yeah, you
like
reap
I
what
told
you,
you,
you know.
yeah. So, like I tell people, like I give out good energy. I meditate. I pray. I journal and actually script. So I script out life what I want it to be, um, and of course, work out and do those things. And it's amazing how I've seen things come to fruition. It's taken a while. Don't get me wrong. It's taken several years, but it's come together, and I'm like, hmm, like this actually works.
Yeah, well, actually, fairly recently, like, yeah, some people don't realize how powerful just our thoughts and words are because something will happen. I'll be like, I don't want this to happen, and then something
Hmm.
will happen because sometimes things seem like they're inevitably going to happen, right?
Yeah,
But then if you
yeah.
speak out like, I don't want this or whatever, or do a prayer, and then magically, it's almost like magically, like from my experience, it's like, oh, that just went away. That's not an issue. And I'm just like, oh,
Mhm.
so it does work. But people don't think about it that way. They're just like, oh, well, fucking Cindy ate my lunch and blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
Didn't eat my
And
lunch.
did you put your balls on my drum set? But it's
I
like
was just watching cops.
if you like, it's just hard to explain. I don't know how to explain it because
No, I get it. Like I said, like and the thing is like that's what you have to understand. Is like you understand, I understand that the power of our minds. That's a simple. There's a very simple explanation for all of it. I tell people is that we are a very powerful being. We are a part of God. So, do you want to create your life of your dreams? I want the best partner. I want the best career. Like this is what I want to do with my career. I want finances to be here. I want all that. Okay, cool. Then if that's what you want, then put it out there. It doesn't mean it's coming tomorrow,
oh yeah.
but it's gonna come. So my mom and I have talked about me and I've told you my girl now. I'm like I've written out literally in detail her spoke out and prayed out and like received her, but it took me several years to get to that point. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
think about it. That's a perfect example. Like you wrote it out, you spoke it out,
Yeah. And prayed about it.
inevitably
And
it showed up, right?
what's that?
I said inevitably she showed up.
Inevitably showed up. That's what I'm saying. And that's what I told her. Like, and she said the same thing. She was the same thing. She didn't do the things I do, but she was like, I knew what I wanted. She was like, in there, and so my thing is like I told her, it's like I fucking literally put you down on paper, like almost in perfection. And it took me several years to get to it, but you came. That's why when I met her, I was like, you gotta be fucking shitting me. Like I remember like thinking like, I trust in manifestation. I trust in the fact that we have power. And when I met her, I was like, you fucking shitting me. Like she matches the fucking height, the hair, the eyes, the nose, the lips, the body, like everything. And then the fucking like mental and spiritual aspect of it. And I'm like, yeah, and beyond. And I'm like, okay, God, like you're fucking with me. And God's like, no, I'm not. God's like, I fucking you asked for it, you dumbass. Like, here you go. And
Well,
I'm just like, holy shit. Like, what the fuck happened? And it's her. It's like, oh my God, like what the fuck? Like and especially up here, like where we're at. I was like, I didn't expect to be anywhere up here. It's crazy, but beautiful. I love it. Amazing.
but yeah, that's exactly like think about that. It took you years of doing it,
Years.
right?
Years. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
we always say it, but you can never say it enough because people are just like, I want it now. I want it
Yep.
now. You're putting the wrong, like it's again, you're putting that force in there, so you're blocking the flow.
So you're blocking it. You're blocking it. Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So,
Perfect. Yeah.
so
Perfect.
what?
Yeah.
So what? Something that can take like a couple of years might take you 10 years because you're resisting.
Blocking it. Yep. Yep.
But
Well, I feel like with me with her, it was probably because obviously not probably obviously because I was staying in the wrong marriage.
yeah, that can. But at the same time, it took you that long because perhaps there were things that you needed to work on also, and
Oh yeah. Oh
to be
yeah.
ready to receive it.
Oh yeah. Oh
You know?
yeah.
And that's another thing that people in general, some people don't understand is like you want this thing and God or the universe will send it to you, but if you're not ready, it's just like if you don't want something, you speak it out, okay. But the same thing, if you want something, if you aren't ready to receive it, then it's not going to happen
You
for you.
fuck it up. Well, but you also fuck it up. Like, so think about like, do you want to get that that one thing for you and then fuck it up because you're not ready? That's
But
the way I
think about
look
how
at it.
many people don't realize that concept. They don't know that they're not ready, right?
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, I'm this, I'm that. I got this piece of paper that says I'm educated and I got a good job. I'm the perfect person.
Yes.
And then
Exactly.
and they're like, why wouldn't they want me? Or why can't I do
Exactly.
this?
Exactly. Yep.
Because it's that same
That's
concept. You're stuck in that monkey mind.
Yep. 100%. Yep. And that's what
But
my girl said too. She said the same shit. She was like, yeah. She goes, I told her. Well, I told her. I said I thought I was ready for you a year ago. I go, obviously I wasn't. I would have fucked it off. And she goes, I guess I wasn't either. I was like, no.
think about how beautiful that is though, that it happened, and think about how beautiful it is to have two people come together and know the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, if
Exactly.
it was a year ago, I wouldn't have been ready, and or this, like that self acknowledgement too. We've talked about this before, but acknowledging your own stuff. If you don't work, it's just like shadow work. If you don't work through whatever
Yep.
you don't realize it, but you're holding yourself back.
Yep.
And we talked about that with me with career stuff.
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
I'm guilty of it. I get trapped in my monkey mind. I'm like, oh, how am I going to afford bread? You know,
Yeah. Afford. Yeah. No,
and
I get it.
and we think too much on the scale of the programming we've been raised with, and it's like that's
Yeah.
not really how
Absolutely.
life works. It's like
No.
the best I've ever been is when it's like in the moment, sporadic,
Yep.
like
Yep.
like
That's like us yelling at Danny and Craig. I mean, like, or you. You know.
oh, he cut out. Are you there?
Who the hell? Yeah. Hold on. What is that? How to what? The fuck?
Oh, well, let's see if we can get Brian back here. See, the CIA is hacking into our session here. They don't want us to spread truth and knowledge. Oh, are you back?
There we go. Yeah, that was goofy as fuck. Like somebody was trying to jump in front of because my son's fucking stupid thing. Anyway, um, that was kind of like we were saying with Danny and Craig. Like when you yell at him. I mean, like it was good. You know, it was, it was necessary for the moment, and that was it. You know.
Well, yeah. I mean, on it, like what's weird is not even that, but like other situations where it's You ever be in a super high stress? Well, yes, you have. You've been in a high,
Oh,
like you can relate to
I've
it.
been
You've
high
been in a,
stress multiple times, like fucking throughout my life, most
but
of my
like
life.
when, but it's like, I wonder if there's a correlation between that and people like us who can perform under pressure, but we're the most, like, it's the calmest we felt in our lives when you're under that pressure. I don't know. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
mean, I think about yeah, I think about I was telling my girl about I think I told you maybe I never told you about this. I'm not sure. I don't know if I ever have. But my friend Jose, like my good friend Jose, we grew up together and we were dual medic and we went on to this fucking call on top of the pass up here in California. And, we had 8 people ejected from this fucking van, right? And it was like the whole fucking side of the highway was the east side the highway was closed down and we were like fucking like just my God. I remember we got there and it was just us and it was just like no one was there, fire, nobody. And we were just like fuck. And we like I was like, here's triage tags. I'm gonna take triage tags. We went and did our shit. Finally CHP showed up, closed on the highway. Um and we just fucking like did our thing for a long time without any help. No fire, no other medics. Finally some other medic showed up from fucking Santa Clara, which he was didn't do worth the shit anyway. So it didn't matter. But like he really didn't. He didn't do shit. I was like, how? Like, dude, you're older than me by like fucking 30 years. Like, how long have you been a medic? Like, what the fuck? Like, fuck you. Get out of the way. So we were doing all this shit. We made this call was like shit, but it fucking like we brought chaos or order into chaos, and they've used this call for training for the last like several years, and
Yeah, I
people are
remember
like,
you. I remember you've told me
told
about
me,
it a few
yeah.
times. And my buddy, my buddy, we were in the army
Oh,
at the
that's
same
right.
time.
Your buddy fucking knew about it, right?
Yeah, he was like they use that for training, and then years
Yeah.
later you told me the story. I'm like, oh my god, that's the story.
Yeah. And so like everybody trips out because we're just like, and he and I were just like, it was our job. Like to us, it was nothing major, nothing fucking ridiculous. We're just like, oh, it's just our job. But we really had to fucking like come together and like really make that shit come together. It was a really fucked up call. And then we had to call for all these helicopters and all this shit and whatever. It was crazy, but it's funny to this day where like people are like, oh, we use it for like training. It's like, what the fuck? Like, oh my
Yeah,
god. And Jose and I were like, that was just a really
We're-
bad call for us.
yeah, you
We
guys are
were
probably
just
like,
like,
we're just doing our job.
yeah, that's how we felt. But we were just like, we just thought it was a really bad call. We were just like, fuck, this is a really bad call. But we just did our job, and they were like, and people were like, oh, you guys like put it together really well. And I was like,
That's all
high
right.
five.
You know what, Brian? You just coined the name for this episode because I really like what you said. I think it coincides with everything we're talking about, and it's
What's that?
bringing order into chaos.
Chaos. Yeah.
That's the whole point
Yeah.
of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the
You're right.
energy thing,
You're right.
right? Like when you're at the office and the printer's not working, you're like, oh my god, my life sucks. It's like, okay, bring order into chaos. That's how you help other people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, that's really good, Nate. Good job. You're very
Well,
aware of that. Yeah.
I graduated school.
Eh, No, it's really good though. No, it's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, because I mean that's what they told us. Like people told us, like I remember like the fucking Santa Clara medic. He was way older, didn't do shit in the call, and he just said I just want to like tell you guys because I'm sorry, like I didn't do more. He's like, but you guys brought like so much order and chaos, and we were like, oh, okay. I remember we were both like just so fucking tired and we had so many patients and then of course we had to fucking write reports on all of them. So we didn't even I was like I didn't keep in that kind of situation, like normally I have a patient, I would fucking like write details on my glove and
Yeah, you don't
fucking
have time to take notes. Yeah.
dude, that's what I'm saying. I would take notes on my glove for most patients so I can fucking like write my report or type my report. I had no fucking clue. Like I was just like intubating people, giving them drugs, like and there was all shit that we were supposed to do according to protocols. They were like, "Oh, you shouldn't do that." Like multiple people dying, and I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna fucking save everybody I can." So I just fucking went in like IVs, intubation, fucking drugs, like all this shit. And it was funny because I told Jose, we both thought that we were gonna fucking be questioned by the state. Like, what the fuck were you guys doing in that situation? The county gave us fucking awards for that shit. They were like, "Oh my god, like fucking you guys saved lives that should have been dead." And I was like, "Oh shit." I was like, "Okay, cool, like that's fine." But I remember telling Jose, I was like, "Well, we didn't do it for that." Like, no shit. I was like, I didn't care about the award. I was just like, I'm just trying to help people. But that's why I said that they always called us cowboy medics. They were like, "Yeah, you guys don't listen. You guys don't like follow protocols." And I was like, "I follow them to a sense, but if I know what works and to save somebody, I'm gonna save a life." You know?
Well, think about that. Dude, that's anything. Like the way
So
we're programmed and structured, like, oh, we got to follow these policies, we got to follow the structure, we got to follow the programming. And I relate to the same crap because I dealt with that crap in the army. And I'm like, if I followed every policy to the T, nothing would ever get done.
no shit.
Like you have to be able to react or act in the moment and get done
Yeah,
what needs to get done.
make
Screw the
shit happen.
policy,
Make shit
right?
happen. Exactly. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. That's why, like, so they used to say me, him, and there was another guy. They said that we were cowboy medics. You're cowboy medics. You guys fucking don't listen. You guys don't whatever. And I was like, how many lives have I fucking like helped by not following these fucking protocols? Like I know this drug. I don't even like drugs, but if I give this drug for this situation, it's gonna help them breathe or be okay. Like I'm gonna do it. And they were just like, "Yeah, you don't care." No, I do care. I'm trying to help my patient. Like I don't give a fuck what you guys say. And then I guess I can say it. I doesn't matter now. I used to document that I fucking did it the right way, you know,
Well,
and
hey,
that
it's
was it.
all about how you write it.
Yeah, seriously, seriously. And I'm grateful because I helped a lot of lives because of that shit. And so I just tell people, I was like, I don't give a fuck. Call me a cowboy medic. Call me when I'm fucking like an asshole. Like I don't give a fuck. Like I'm still helping people. I'm saving people. Like I don't give a fuck. That's why I'm here. I was like, I didn't go to school to do this to fucking follow your fucking rules. I did this to help people. Like I don't care. Like I'm like fuck you guys. You know.
But you can apply that
So
to anything in life because
absolutely.
a lot of that stuff holds you back from
Yeah.
what you're true. Like, think about what you just said. You could have, you probably saved more lives than you would have because you're like, I'm not going to limit myself. You have this box that you have to work in, and you're like, fuck that box. I'm going to go outside of it and do what needs to be done rather than what the paperwork says.
Yeah, because it was frustrating. Because I was like, well, I know this drug. If I do this drug, this situation, this person needs to have. I need to suppress their respiratory drive just to intubate them to save them because they're probably gonna die if I don't. Like I'm gonna give this drug, and I'm going to intubate them, save their respiratory drive, save them as a whole, and then we get to the hospital. They're good. We save them. They're good. And then all of a sudden, it's like, well, you weren't supposed to get that drug. Like, well, bitch, guess what?
It's
I
like
was
look at the person on the bed. They're alive, aren't they?
the person sitting up happy. Like, fuck you, you stupid motherfuckers. Like, so no, I just don't give a fuck. I just don't, dude. I'm telling you, you know that. You know
And
me.
fuck the system, brother.
Always fuck the system. Like, fuck these people.
Like like all this political bullshit that's going around. It's like, dude, it's just a clown show at this point.
It is. It really is. All of it. All of it.
And then it's so refreshing though that so many people are just like, dude, this is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Like, and now it seems like more people are just calling out any type of bullshit. It's just like, yeah, you're lying, or this bullshit. This makes no sense.
Yep.
It's like people are waking up more, and I think that's a good
Yep.
thing
Absolutely.
because it's like, we like our lives the way they were, and we don't want you to fuck with it. So leave us alone. Thanks.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
that's what I think. But but no, I like that bringing order into chaos.
Yeah. And that's the thing that was the one that was not the one that was the sentence we heard. Um, from these guys that were from Santa Clara County, which was obviously a county over the top that's busier than us. And they were like, yeah, they're like, we watched you two bring order into chaos. And both of us were like, well, we were just doing our job. That's what I thought. I was like, I'm just doing my job. Like, fuck it. I'm going to save what I can, do what I can. I'm not, I know I didn't follow the traditional triage This triage should have been let people die. They were supposed to die, but I didn't. Um, but they were like, yeah, you guys are just fucking like Jose and I were just like machines. Like just I don't even know why. I don't even know why. We were just going. We've known each other forever. We just went. That was crazy. And they, like I said, to this day they still use it for training. So it's kind of crazy.
But that means you did the right thing.
Apparently, we didn't feel like it when we left. We were like, fuck. We just went all over the place. We were like, fuck, dude. Like we shouldn't have done because we were according to our protocols. He intubated somebody. I intubated somebody. In that situation, we're not supposed to intubate people. Like we're supposed to let them die, but we didn't. So
But you see, you were divinely guided.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
brought that
absolutely.
you brought that energy in there and fucking was like, yep, doing it. Because sometimes, like I said, it's like when you are doing anything and you're just like fuck it and you let it flow, then it'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
And you did it to save
absolutely.
lives. So,
That's why. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, that's why. That's the only
and
reason.
I think that's an important concept to tell people is like at the end of the day, if something drastic has to happen, and if you're in the position to do it, and you just say, you know what, I don't give a shit if I get in trouble, I'm doing this, because you
Yeah,
know it's the right thing to do,
yeah,
then do it.
yeah, absolutely.
It's just like you're talking about with energy. Like if you want to manifest this life for you, fuck what everybody else says. You know?
Like put your energy out there. Yeah, absolutely. Of course. Yeah. That was the whole thing with that. That was the thing with the call. I
Yeah.
remember fucking I didn't even think about it. And I know Jose didn't think about it. We were just like, hey, fuck it. You want to pull our licenses because we fucking saved some lives? Then fucking do it. Like, high five. Fuck you.
Damn,
You
you're
know?
like house, bro.
Seriously, bro.
Yeah.
I don't even. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just my whole career in that whole fucking field, I did a lot of shit where it was like, oh, I know this is gonna work. This is gonna help, and it wasn't supposed to be the way, but I did it, and it helped, right? And that's why I'm there.
Well,
So
dude, think about that. Isn't that does doesn't that make you kind of like sad that not just that system, but systems in general are just
our
there to like
systems are shit, dude. Our systems are shit, bro.
they're there to like kind of put a band-aid on, but they're not there to actually truly serve the
Yep.
people.
Yep. Our systems are fucking shit.
It's like
100% shit.
it's just like when I was in the military and then, the whole craziness and I'm like, what the fuck are we doing, bro?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the whole 20 years at war and then pull out of Afghanistan like, all right, fuck you guys. And it's like,
Yep.
what did we just waste lives and years for?
Well, why do you think I even when I was in SWAT and like I said, I mean, which we all had an understanding, but that was my thing. When we were in SWAT. It was like we're all gonna go home, so we know we have protocols to follow. But guess what? I'm going home. So
Yeah.
if I have
It's
to
a,
execute somebody, like, and it may not seem right, sorry, but I'm going home.
yeah,
But then,
it's
of course, the shitty thing was not the only thing, but the shitty thing was in California was, of course, you do the wrong thing, you're going to prison. It's you.
well, that's what it's like right now for most law enforcement
Yeah.
because of all the fucking political bullshit that they've injected into every avenue. It's like, oh, that's why
Yeah.
all these police departments can't recruit anybody because no one wants to be a cop anymore because they're like,
No one
fuck
wants
you.
to do it. No. Exactly.
It's the same thing. It's the
No.
same thing with the military.
Yeah.
We're having like quote unquote record problems fucking recruiting people.
Yep.
And it's like, well, think about what's been happening the last 20 years. Like, no one, think about society, think about what all the fucking poison you're injecting into society, and no wonder nobody wants to do this shit. Because
Yep.
what's funny? You know what's funny is I was watching, so on Netflix, they have, do you ever watch the movie SWAT with
Oh
Colin
yeah, of
Farrell
course.
and Samuel L.
Yeah, of
Jackson?
course.
I remember as a
Yeah.
kid, because I think I told you this, I used to want to be a police officer, right? And when that movie came out when I was still a kid, and I was like, damn, I love this fucking movie. This is awesome. And now, like, think about even movies they made 10, 20 years ago about police, stuff like that. It was all like fucking positive and like, yeah, fucking kick ass. And now it's like, oh, it's a racist cop in this movie or whatever the fuck. It's like the whole shift. They just shifted the whole view of it. And it's like, how sad is that? Like something that I valued in my childhood, like I still value law enforcement, of course, but it's like the view of it is like demonized now. It's like, oh, you're a cop, you're a fucking racist, you fucking kill people, blah blah blah, fucking blah. And it's like it's like, dude, what is happening? And it's not just law enforcement; it's all the systems that we have in place. That's like it. I feel like there's been a switch that's turned, and it's just like, how did we get to this point? You know?
Yeah, because it's coming to an end. No, it's because it's all coming to an end, though. Like it's great. Like fucking let it all come to that point. Because I agree with you. Same thing. Me as a medic. Same thing. Me as a SWAT medic. I mean, like when I was back in SWAT. I mean, we well yeah, it was still existed, of course, but it wasn't like it is now, right? Um, when I as a medic, well, medic all the way up 2017, but still, um, they would still try to put that shit on us. Like, oh, you don't want to pick up this so and so people. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like, because they're calling me for a fucking sniffle. Like, fuck you. Like, you think I feel bad? Like, I don't. Like, I'm signing you out. I don't give a fuck. I have a fucking right. And yeah, it's just but we have to all be aware, like to each other, right, and with each other. That's what I'm saying. Though. So like law enforcement though now. That's what I told my son. I was like, yeah, bud, you're getting it in the whole wrong fucking time, bud. That's what I
Dude,
told him. I was like, yeah, I was like, you're in the fucking like most horrible time. I was like, because if you do anything, they're gonna be like, I was like, thankfully you're brown. I was like, you're fucking half Mexican, half Portuguese. I was like, you're brown. So like fucking people were like, oh, well, at least you can't say you're white. Like fucking yeah, you're not white. So
yeah, I think I told you my cousin, he's a cop in New Jersey, and he's like, "Hey, my chief wanted me to ask anybody if they wanted to be a cop," and I texted him, but he wasn't being serious. You know, I'm not gonna
yeah,
fucking do it. But I was like, "Sure, if you can let me do a train up, and then immediately put me on SWAT, and then I don't have to go to fucking the academy, boom, I'll do it." And
yeah,
he
exactly.
just sent a laughing face back
Emoji. Yeah.
because I'm like, dude, you know, I'm fucking 32 years old. I'm not going through fucking boot camp again. Like it sucks.
Hey, I'm 42 and I blow through that bullshit. I'm like, you motherfuckers, fuck you. I'd fucking attack all the fucking instructors and fucking fuck them all.
Well, I told you I did the POPAT for the PD
Yeah.
here, and they were like trying to recruit the shit out of me, and I'm like, no, dude, I'm good. Like I'm not. I don't know. I just think, like you said, the systems are kind of falling apart. I think they need to change some of
Well,
that
they
shit.
are. They are. They are.
I think they need to change that shit. To be honest with you, like if you have a person, like still put them through some tests, still make them take some tests and learn the laws. But especially if they're like prior military or something like that, like why are you gonna put them through a whole nother boot camp? Like fuck you. I'm not gonna fucking
Well, especially their bullshit. Like I said, like when I saw what my son was going through, I was like, this is the most vagina shit ever. Sorry. Don't mean to be, don't mean to be, you know, putting in vaginas, but I'm just saying it was like the most like bullshit thing ever. It's like fucking. I saw his like training. And I was like, really? That's what they had you do? I was like, come on, man.
so are you saying that they lowered the standards?
Oh, dude, 100%. Literally, okay. So from multiple counties, not even one county, multiple counties. My son's graduating fucking class was like 16 people from multiple counties.
Dude, that's
So no one's fucking going in anymore. Everybody's like, fucking, I'm done. Like I'm don't want to do it anymore. So that's pretty bad. That's fucking really bad.
well, that's what like boot camp in general, like any type of boot camp, like when you're young and you're going through it, you're like, oh fuck, I'm scared. But then you like for me, I'm just like, dude, it's just a game. Like it's a fucking game. All right. This is
Of
not
course, that's all it
it's
is.
not the real this is not the real world. They're just trying to see how you respond under stress and if you can follow these rules and blah blah blah. And it's like a
Yeah,
programming
of course,
mechanism.
of course.
But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not doing that shit again. Nah. That's why I think they should test. They should seriously test like a program where they're like, okay, if you're either X amount of years prior military, or and if you can pass this fitness test and do this and do that, and just have like experiment with it in like a county or something, and only open it up to like 20 people, and then maybe 5 make it through, and then they're on a prolonged like field training, you know, and then it's like, all
I,
right, I don't know,
yeah, no, I agree. No, I agree. I'd be like, hey, fucking, we're gonna do some basic shit, like fucking, like, so you're ex-military, okay, cool. So we're gonna fucking run a mile and a half. We're gonna fucking do 150 push-ups, 200 squats, and then you're gonna wrestle somebody for fucking the next 3 minutes,
yeah, you're gonna
right?
be fucking smoked after that.
Yeah, yeah, right. And then fucking like in that 3 minutes, if you choke that motherfucker out before 3 minutes, like fucking okay, you win, you're good. You know what I mean? Because you just, I mean, dude, I mean, there's so many of us that have like so much fucking like technique and so much shit, and these guys are just like, I'm gonna put you through my stupid little fucking training where you go do like fucking you go and like you know drive a golf cart, and it's just like stupid shit. It's like shut the fuck up. Like let me just show you that I can fuck somebody up real quick.
Dude, that's what I
And like,
couldn't.
yeah, yeah, it'll be great. You can shoot a gun, you fucking can fuck somebody up, you can choke somebody out. Okay, cool, you're hired. Like you're good.
Dude, my one thing I hated about the army was that to get promoted, you have to go through leadership courses, right? But they make them fucking long as shit for no reason. They're just like, oh yeah, you're here for 7 weeks, and it's like, why? To learn what I'm already doing now, motherfucker? Because
Exactly.
like in the army, you're expected to be able to. Well, at least when I was in, you're expected to whatever your rank is, you're expected to kind of be able to work at least 2 ranks above that, right? The worst fucking course I ever went through was senior leader course. So I could be a sergeant first class, which is E7, which I ended up getting out as E7. But fucking dude, I'm a fucking staff sergeant, promotable, right? Which is the status you get right before you're getting ready to get your number. Also, it's a whole thing. But they're treating us like fucking privates, like bottom of the barrel, fucking. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, is this what I came here for? Just to fucking get shit on for 7 weeks? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this is so like this is unnecessarily stupid. Like, fucking, we already. It's just that concept of that old. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like an older generation of thinking of like, oh, we gotta make it suck because it sucked for me. So
Yeah.
it's like just fucking do the course without being a jackass. I don't know, dude. I was
Right.
just like, dude,
I
this is
know.
fucking stupid. And then I just can't stand that. I think that's why a part of me is like, I can't do boot camp because I'm just like, I don't have tolerance for bullshit.
Yeah.
It's just like, teach me what I need to learn and cut out all the extra bullshit that's in it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Like in this course, they're still having this. Like, I get it. You need discipline, you need order, right? Order into chaos. So we are still doing like they would do like uniform inspections like once a week. And I'm like, dude, I'm not a fucking private. I know how to set up
Because
my
you're,
uniform.
yeah, yeah, you're not in basic, man. Like that's fucking stupid. I'm sorry.
That's the shit with any organization, any system. I'm just like, if you're gonna make me do stupid shit, I already know all the basics. Then
Yeah,
fuck.
absolutely.
Sorry, I went on a little tangent there, but I'm just like,
That's
I
okay.
just,
That's
I
okay.
think I think you and I have the same issue, where it's like, dude, we don't have tolerance for bullshit. Just like,
No, especially not like that kind of shit. Like where it's like we've been through the basic, so there should be no more of that, in my opinion.
it's just like what you were saying with the EMT stuff. Like, I've met people that would outrank me and all this shit, and I'm like, I'm smarter than you, and I can do this job better than you, but
Yeah,
you're in charge of me. because you completed a course or you did this cert.
Oh, don't even get me started on that stuff.
And I'm like, why are like, and you're dumb as fuck, and you're making all these
Yeah.
decisions when you could be doing it this way. But it's just, oh my god, ah, good times.
That's my thing. Like I said, that's my thing. Don't get me started on the stuff where it's like about your paper that you have behind you. Because I'm like, you're a complete idiot. And oh well, I have this certification. Okay, cool. But you're still a complete idiot. It's
But
like I don't.
but back to
Doesn't
that,
make me.
back to the whole, back to the whole law enforcement thing. They should do a field test on. One of the reasons why I think they should do it is not only to maybe help with recruiting, but also think about, like, I worked for special forces unit for half my career, right?
Yeah.
So if special forces can go into a third world country and train the local people to fight a war without like they do their own version of training and stuff, but they're not going through like fucking 10 weeks of boot camp. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
if you can do that in another country, why can't you do that here?
Well, of course. Yeah, exactly.
They want you to be like fucking indoctrinated and fucking, oh yeah.
This is all a game, man. It's all a game.
It's
All a
just,
game.
it bothers me. It bothers me, Brian.
I know. I know. I get it. This country is a game, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, like, why do we pay taxes, dude?
Yeah, because they're not legal. They're not
Dude,
legal.
you know what's hilarious is when like teenagers are complaining about it, like, why I gotta pay taxes on taxes, bro? And I'm like, right?
Yeah, no, because they see it, right? I mean,
We
it's
we
not
pay
legal.
taxes and we got fucking, we send millions of dollars to the Taliban every week, so that's cool. But whatever.
Yeah, exactly, right? Isn't that funny?
No one's like freaking out about that.
Yeah.
And I'm
Nope.
just
I'm
like, what
telling
the,
you,
like, what
I'm
game
telling
are they
you,
playing?
I say it all the time. I'm like, yeah, everybody's got to wake up to this game because this game is like we're losing when we're supposed to be winning, and we're like losing to our lovely government.
Well, it seems like we are now in that phase of the government no longer represents the people. So it's like, all
Oh no,
right.
yeah. No, thank God, it's all falling apart. So it's all really falling apart, which is really good.
Yeah.
All the old structures, I'm telling you, all the old structures are falling apart, man.
It's just like what you said about Rome. Doesn't
That's what I said. It
it
did. It
doesn't
didn't
fall
fall
in
in
a
a day,
day.
but it fell, right? But it fell, and that's exactly what's happening in our country. I tell people that I've been telling people that for the last several years. Like, you understand that we are falling like Rome did, right? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, Rome didn't fall in a day, but it fell because it was built off of bullshit. Same thing with America. So the people are like, America, America. I'm like, okay, high five. When you see it fall apart, you're gonna be like, oh shit, that's why. Yeah, it's all bullshit, man.
Yeah, it's just like anything. Like, even if you're running a business, if you build it on bullshit, it's not gonna last very long.
It's gonna fall apart. And I always tell people, like, obviously, because people will be like, well, then why do they have so much success? So greed and bullshit may at times have like, extended periods of success. Like you're just like, oh shit, like it seems like it's working out, and then all of a sudden one day starts to crumble. You're like, oh shit, what happened? I'd rather build everything off of like legitimacy and being like a legitimate person, like trying to help people. And it may take me longer to get there, but it's gonna last forever because it's all built off of like genuine the way I want it to be. Right?
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's pretty much that's how everything started. I think, like, for if you take America for example, I think that's kind of how it started, and then over the last couple centuries, it's just kind of became more about money and fucking, like, how come, like
Yeah.
like a congressman or a senator or a president is a fucking is a fucking public servant.
Yeah.
There's no reason why
Exactly.
they should go into an office that's a public servant and leave a millionaire. It's like, oh, how does that work?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
what?
Yeah. 100%. Yep.
And it's like, it's exhausting. But I think things are coming to light that are
Things
waking
are
people up.
things are turning up, buddy.
Crank up the heat.
They're turning up.
Yeah,
I hear a dog.
yeah, that's my dog. She barks at like everything. She's crazy.
Uh, hey, we have to do. You know what? We have to do another paranormal episode because my girl, man, she's really connected to all that. So we gotta
Oh,
figure some
really?
stuff out. Yeah, really.
That'd be yeah. That'd actually. You know what's funny is I was thinking about that. I was like, I wonder if Brian will have her on because of the stuff you told me. And I'm like,
Yeah,
we could probably have some really good conversations about
I
the
love to have her on. She's so open and she's so like there. Oh my god! And some of her stuff, like she's told me some stories. I'm like, oh, put it out here on our podcast. People be like, what in the world? Yeah, yeah, it's really good. Yeah, real good stuff. Yeah, she'll be
yeah,
more than happy to be on. I guarantee you. So I'll talk to her about it. She'll be like, yeah, let's go. Like it'll be good.
yeah, that'd be cool. Because I have been thinking about that too, like the paranormal stuff, which
Hmm.
is paranormal, but I mean, whatever. But uh,
Dude,
when people
we
say
watched.
paranormal, they're like, oh, it's like fucking The Conjuring. Yeah,
Hey, we watched Annabelle last night for the first time since it was made in 2014, right? 10 years ago. Both of us had watched it, but I didn't remember anything. I had no recollection of any of it. She didn't either. So we're like made dinner. We were like watching it. Oh my god,
you left
some
the
of the
lights on
shit that
somewhere.
happened, dude. We were like, what the hell? And she was just like, "You're gonna leave me tomorrow?" Like, oh my god, like I don't, I want to go to bed. And I was like, dude, we're fine. But yeah, that was freaky and it's crazy. So yeah,
Yeah, I think I told you when I lived in Connecticut, I lived like a town
yeah.
over from the house where
Ed
the
and
Ed.
Lorraine Warren, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I told her about that. I said, yeah. I said, my buddy Nate. I said he lived like just over from Ed and Lorraine Warren. She's like, really? I was like, yeah. And that's where Annabelle's thing's
Yeah.
at, right?
You know,
Like,
yeah,
oh,
but you know
okay.
what's funny is my wife was like, "We should go," and I'm like, "Nope, nope, nope," because I'm of the mind like I don't want to be anywhere near that shit. No, sir.
So is that like a museum now, or what is that?
I don't know what it is now. I know that they were having basically, yeah, it was set up as like a museum, but it's their house or whatever. And they had it wasn't just the Annabelle doll. They have a bunch of different stuff in there that's
Yeah, they have
been
a bunch of shit in their basement. Yeah, yeah, that's possessed.
yeah, and they just keep it locked up. And there's people who are like, "Oh, it's not real," fucking blah blah blah. But knowing what you and I know and what we've experienced, and I'm like, I'm not
It's
going
real.
anywhere.
Yeah, it's real. Yeah,
I'm not opening up.
I'm
I'm
all,
not even gonna
I'm
risk
all,
opening up
I'm
myself to
all,
that shit.
it's real. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's real.
And people are like, "Oh, it's behind glass," and it's like, yeah, that doesn't mean shit.
Let's see.
But
No, because I'm.
oh no, we lost him again. I love technology. It's great. Love it.
Oh, my son's fucking. Because I'm on his fucking iPad, so then all of a sudden his little goofy ass friends try to fucking call. I'm like, bitch, call somewhere else, motherfucker.
You don't want to play
Anyway,
Fortnite?
huh?
So you don't want to play Fortnite? That's what.
No.
That's what my son has an iPad and his friends always call him like, "You want to play Fortnite?"
Yeah, like nope, leave me alone. No, but no, like I said, like so those things. So I'm just wondering because like her and I are always interested in that shit, but I'm just like,
Dude, like my wife, like you ever go to like a garage sale or like an antique shop? Do you do
oh
any of
yeah,
that?
of course,
My wife
yeah.
is like, we're not buying anything from an antique shop ever. Because she's like,
Wow,
whatever, because she's like, whatever energy was on that is gonna be brought into the house. I'm not doing that.
yeah, it's true. It's true. That's very true.
And I'm like, we've had stuff happen in our house, and I'm just like, okay, like nothing super crazy. I mean, I guess to other people would probably be crazy, but
Well, so it's kind of crazy because like funny, it's like stupid. I know it was my mind, but which nothing happened. But like going to bed last night, my girl was like, "Oh God!" Like we watched Annabelle. Like I said, and it was a group was like, "Fuck!" Like there was some scary shit in it. So we go to bed. We have a good night, but then it's like fucking like,
Every little noise is like, oh my god.
well, no, because like this like older person died in the house that she lives in, right? The house
Oh,
that she this old person, like they just died natural, like no big deal. That's crazy, but it's still just kind of like ah shit, like that fucking spirit still here, like hanging out. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of just weird. You know, after you watch some shit like that, you're just kind of like, hmm. You hear little noises. Because I remember actually, her and I think it was the first time we ever stayed together at the house. Well, obviously she already lived there, but we stayed together at the house. And she told me, she was like, yeah, she goes, there was an older person that died in this house, like naturally, whatever. And that night we started hearing noises, and it was fun, not noises, but a noise. And she even told me, she goes, we woke up, and we're like, hmm. And she goes, I've never heard that noise before. I was like, never. She goes, no. So we heard it multiple times, but then it kind of stopped. I mean, I wasn't like freaked out. I was more like, okay, like, what are we gonna do about it? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it is what it is. And then we haven't heard it since. But it's like, was it because we talked about it? I mean, I don't know. It was weird.
Well, think about that. We're just talking about how there's power in our thoughts and words, and
Yeah.
then I do believe that if you watch a scary movie, like for me personally, if I watch a super scary movie, like something like that, I'm like maybe even just subconsciously, like I'm primed to like kind of like attract shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, no, just let it go, whatever. Or me and my wife like have a rule where it's like if we hear something, see something, we don't freak out, we don't give it energy. We're just like, all right, just passing through, because
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
don't want to
Yeah.
give it energy either because
Yeah.
and just because something happens doesn't mean it's like evil or whatever. But
No. No, not at all. Yeah.
we have the understanding of like, all right, like one night I was sleeping on the couch. I forgot why. I wasn't in trouble, but
You say you're in trouble.
but so in my living room, the kitchen is right there, and a fucking cup. There's no way this cup could have been blown from the air or anything like that. It fucking flew off the counter and landed by the refrigerator, which was like 8 feet away. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then you know how something like that happens, and you start getting your hair start standing up, and you're like, all right.
Oh yeah. Oh
And I'm
yeah.
like, just go to sleep. Just all right. Just acknowledge it and don't feed it. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to bed.
Yeah,
Like
that would have
really,
been yeah,
like
that would have been a
like
little bit much.
like shit like that. I'm just like, all right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That would have been a bit much. That's why I told my girl, I'm like, nope, nope, fuck that. I'm like, this fucking place is haunted. Like, fuck you. Yeah. She always laughs. I'm just like, no. She's like, but we've never had that. But like, she's very in tune though. She's very in tune to the other side. I'll put it that way. Very in tune to it,
I
and
wonder.
she doesn't fear it. She doesn't fear it, and she like connects to it. She's very sweet. She's a good woman. Like, well, obviously, doesn't have anything wrong with it. Just she has this other thing with the other side. Like, it's weird. I don't know. Hmm.
Well, she has gifts, like we all do.
Yeah, that's what
Just
it
in
is.
tune
That's
with
what
it.
it is. Exactly. That's what it is. I told her. I said, you have a different gift that you're not aware of. She goes, I feel like I do. She goes, but I'm not sure what it is. And I was like, well, yeah, we're gonna do ayahuasca together. Well, not like just by ourselves, but go do a retreat and just kind of open shit up more and see what happens. So
Yeah, I want to do shrooms, but in a
I've done
controlled.
I've done well, I've microdosed. I've never done a god dose. I've done microdose of shrooms. And it's good. I mean, it opens you up, kind of like lets down your inhibitions or whatever. But I think like ayahuasca, what it does, like completely shuts down all of your fucking like defense mechanisms, and then you're just like fucking open to everything. So you fucking open up to all your shit that you need to heal, all your shit that you're like aware, like well, I guess unaware of. Um, So ayahuasca to me is like fucking like let's go do like have a shaman just walk us through the whole experience. Shrooms, yeah, I've microdosed and it's great, but I've never done a god dose where it's you're just like, oh shit, freak the fuck
Well,
out. You know?
well, I guess I mean it sounds pretty similar to me, but what's the difference between shrooms and ayahuasca?
Because ayahuasca, so you drink a tea, you drink a tea from a root, and you have a shaman, and you're in this like typically you do between 3 and 5 days in this like whole ceremony. So you go into it like first day they give you so much tea, you drink it like shaman. Like some people don't have much happen, some people have a lot happen. Second day, same thing. Third day, whatever. Usually by like the third or fourth day, like you start to have some real shit happen, and like you start to have like, because it literally like shuts down all of your defense mechanisms, and your brain opens up. So if you have shit that is unhealed, shit that needs to be released, it starts to come out.
So are
So
you when you're doing I don't know how much I don't know a lot about it, but when you're doing it, I'm just thinking like if you were fasted, it would probably hit faster. Is that like a part of it? Is like, oh, you're not gonna eat or anything?
no, they give you so no, they give you a whole before you even go. So like I said, so they do it in Peru. Peru is one of the main places, Peru and Colombia, but then they have it here in the States. But they give you like they tell you like this is what you need to do before you come. They give you a whole clean diet throughout the whole entire experience, like a very clean diet. Um, the thing is that so when they give you the tea and things start to happen, the shamans are like, hey, like freaking I'm gonna walk you through this. There's music, the shamans are walking you through it. So they see you, they watch you because they've been doing it for so long. They watch you and they see that you're kind of like it's for the people that are kind of struggling, like, oh, I'm gonna go walk you through it. Um and what happens with most people is that fucking like it unlocks shit that like traumas that were from before that you had no idea about. Um you start to unlock these traumas, you start to like open up your heart, you start to be like, oh my god, like I didn't even know I had all this shit in me. um, a lot of people like not a lot of people. I think some of the people start throwing up, start doing these things because you're just like purging stuff out of your body, right?
Yeah.
But you face all these things that you didn't even know you had, and most people, if not all people, when they come out of it, they're very healed. They're very like, oh my god, like I didn't even know I was dealing with that kind of shit, you know. So it's very healing for all people, and that's why I told like my girl, she was just like, yeah, she goes, I've already like talked or like research into it, talk to you about it. She goes, I'm just afraid of what's going to come up. I said, who cares? You have to let it out. Let it out.
Yeah, because I mean, I would think that if you're afraid going into it, that might affect it might make it worse for you, right?
Well, I
Maybe.
mean, not necessarily because I think most people, not most people, but a lot of people going into it are afraid because they're like, I don't know what I'm going to get from it. You know, like for me, I go into it like excited because I'm like, heck yeah, let's see what happens. Like, because I want to see what it unlocks for me. But a lot of people go into it because there's like, oh my god. So that's why, like with my girl, we've watched like what 3 documentaries recently, and she was just like she told me last night. She goes, "I really want to go do it with you," and she was like, I'm okay with it now." I was like, "Okay, cool." I said, "That's why I wanted you to see these things to understand that it's not like this horrible thing. Is it
Yeah.
going to be challenging? Oh yeah, it's going to be challenging. It's going to be like a challenging experience. It's not going to be fun initially." I said, "But guess what? Like when you get the like healing from it, it's going to be amazing." You know. But everybody wants shit to be easy. It's not always going to be easy, man. It's not the way life works. So,
Yeah, I agree.
so I think it's an amazing thing. I think it's beautiful. Like I said, but it is challenging. So,
Well, I think that's all she wrote
yes, sir.
for this evening.
Well, buddy.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next
Yes,
one.
sir.